Succour for the suicidal. If you honestly look at it, in the grand scale of things, you are really of no consequence in this existence. Whether 1,000 bubbles are floating in the air or 999, what is the big difference? How many human beings like you and me have come and gone? But some people think they have a God given purpose and God made them especially for something. Now, when things don't happen that way, they will freak out because they have such grand ideas about themselves. They have become too important in their own thought process. Once you have become too important in your own thought process, you will be like a tyrant, super confident and bombastic. A diffident person will sit there and get miserable for the same reason. So, between the two of them, who is more stupid? I think the miserable one is more stupid. But a tyrant can cause more pain. The miserable will cause pain to themselves, but the bombastic one will cause pain to everyone else. Well, I am not chastising you for your stupidity, as the word stupid simply means to be amazed or stunned. When one is stunned by the drama that is happening in their psychological space, the phenomenal value of the life process will be lost upon them. So don't be stupefied by your own psychological drama. Most people who want to commit suicide do it not because the world is torturing them, it is because they are torturing themselves through their own thoughts and emotions. They drive themselves to this point simply because they have not made an attempt to know anything about the fundamental nature of their own existence and the mechanics of life that they are. Silly little thoughts and emotions that they created because become a universe in itself. When their universe begins to collapse, they think they must end their life. This is simply because there is no asotama sadgamaya in them. They are asotama. They have decided to live in darkness. Whatever you give them, it does not matter what, they will turn that into darkness, into a problem. You give them a spiritual process, they will make that also into a problem. Get them married, they will make that into a problem. Get them divorced, they will make that into a problem. Get them educated, they will make that into a problem. Leave them uneducated, they will make that into a problem. Poverty, riches, wealth, and everything, they will make it into a problem because they are in ignorance. That is all. Ignorance in this context does not mean you don't know nuclear science. Ignorance in this context means you don't know a damn thing about the nature of your life. You are trying to live here without exploring a damn thing about the nature of your life. You are busy with your own thought, with your own emotion, with your own silly little things that you are creating around yourself. You are living in your own universe. You must understand that there is no such thing as your universe. Your universe is an illusion. So, this is why I bless everybody that the sooner you are disillusioned, the better it is for you. People say, "Oh, I was disillusioned," as if it is a tragedy. No, it is a great possibility. With disillusionment, all your illusions got destroyed. Isn't it fantastic? Another positive word for disillusionment is enlightenment. Enlightenment is when all illusions collapse. Right now, you selectively keep some illusions and some you collapse. If everything collapses, you are enlightened. If you learn how to handle your disillusionment joyfully, then there will be no suicidal thoughts. A lot of people threatening to commit suicide are doing it only to get attention. Sometimes it goes bad, they only try to create some trouble for everybody. But it went bad, it is a terrible thing. It is also true that what people go through just before committing suicide is worse than the death that follows. So if somebody wants to commit suicide, people think, oh, they need sympathy. But if you approve of this, then every time there is a little difficulty because people will try to kill themselves. For every little bit of difficulty that someone faces, he or she will think it is the most difficult situation and want to go. The moment you bring this approval into the social structure and social psyche, too many people will start killing themselves. It is best that people understand this. You did not create life, so you have no business to take it either, whether it is yours or someone else. It is as simple as that. There are life situations, some are okay, some are not okay, some are horrible. Still, it does not give you the right to take a life because you are incapable of creating one. People who want to commit suicide need sympathy sometimes, but mostly they need a little treatment and very cautious levels of disdain. Once it happened, a young boy and a girl in a local college fell in love. They had really become very passionate and intense. Then, of course, coming from traditional families, the parents came in the way because of caste distinctions. They said, no way over our dead bodies. Usually, this is common proclamation for the parents make. It is just a threat. They will not die. If the families do not oppose, most love affairs will fall apart. But the moment they resist it, it becomes like a cause. It is like they are fighting an injustice and people will rally behind them. So it went on and a big social scandal happened. When this happened, the lovers thought all this trouble is because of themselves. So they decided that they will end their lives. So they went up the Vilayangiri mountains. On top of these mountains, there is a place where you can leave your body. From there, you have a clear 700 to 800 feet drop, which will give you a free fall without touching anything before you are splattered on the rocks. Some people have discarded their bodies consciously, others fall and do it. So the boy and the girl reached the top and stood there, hand in hand. They were just about to jump when the girl said, Raju, I'm so scared. You jump first. Somehow the name of the idiot in all the romantic movies is always Raju. The boy was in full form, so he said, come, hold my hand and jump. She said, no, you do it first, then I will come. I will be right behind you. The boy had seen too many Hindi movies and he jumped. The girl stood at the edge of the cliff and screamed, oh Raju, I love you. Then she started thinking very pragmatically. Now Raju is gone, my love is gone, all the problem is gone. When the problem itself is over, why waste one more life? So she walked down, and because she could not go back home, she came and settled down at the Isha Yoga Center. For many people who are on the verge of committing suicide, just one moment of distraction is all it takes to prevent it. Most people who manage to overcome that one moment went on to live for a long time. Those who really want to commit suicide generally become quiet. In yogic traditions, they say if a person sits alone in a room in the dark without lighting a lamp or turning on the light, this means that either they are going to commit suicide or they are going to become a yogi. Both are in a way connected. I became a yogi means in a way consciously I killed myself. Even the man who commits suicide has no intention of killing the body. He wants to kill himself because he does not know how to do it, because he thinks that the body is him. He hangs the body. Otherwise, he would have just hanged his persona. So if somebody sits alone without light, with eyes open, you know they are heading for suicide most of the time. If it is in the world at large, maybe 1% of the time, but if it is in the yoga center, we would say 10% of the time they are heading towards something else, which is a bigger possibility. They may be just practicing samyama. Now, what can be done for people who are chronically feel suicidal? Western science tends to look at suicidal tendencies only from the angle of psychology and physiology. Though their interventions are getting better, they are inherently limited to these two domains. In yoga, the physiology and the psychology are only consequences of something deeper. Treating the consequences alone is like treating the symptoms and not the ailments. In yoga, a suicidal tendency is considered the result of an aberration or distortion at the energy level of the person. For such people, only bringing a certain amount of exuberance to their energies will bring them out of it. There are tools and methods to do this, and it is possible to pull most people out of it. Time, energy, and organization are the only barriers to this. If bringing about exuberance in their energies is not immediately possible, the next best thing you can do is to become exuberant yourself. Is it not true that if you are feeling a little low sitting in a dreary office and you go into a beautiful garden, everything becomes wonderful and you are suddenly lifted up? So please be the flower for them. With some fragrance and beauty, even those who are feeling depressed or miserable will rise a little bit. Depression, grief, and joy are all infectious. You have to make up your mind as to what you want to infect the world with. If you are exuberant and they are in your company, it can make a big difference. But today, all you are willing to dedicate is a phone line. It may also help to an extent. As I already said, you did not create this life, so you should not talk about ending it unless your identity as a separate being or a separate person has disappeared, and you and the source of creation are the same. If you come to the point of evolution, then you can throw away your body consciously. You are allowed to do it, but you are not allowed to do it by damaging the body or by hanging from a tree. Once you are dead, we don't mind burying you under the tree, but hanging from a tree is neither good for you nor for the tree. Moreover, whether life has been a good deal or a bad deal, if you have a larger purpose, everything is a stepping stone for your ultimate well-being. Now, everyone's life is precious to them. It is naturally so. But if someone has gone beyond that and tried to take their own life, if they are still alive, I would say an absolute no to suicide. But if it has already happened, we should respect their decision and leave it there. In spite of it being the most precious thing, if someone has taken the extreme step of taking their own life, it does not matter how silly it looks to you and me. We should respect their decision because that is how it is. But for those who are alive, you have no business to do that. In terms of the karmic structure, in terms of the spiritual evolution of a being, suicide is 100% unjustified. No question about it. You have to see every situation as a possibility to move towards freedom rather than getting entangled. If you use every situation as a stepping stone, then there is no question of suicide. If a spiritual process becomes active in societies, suicide can almost disappear completely, except in cases of pathological mental derangement. They might do something because it is not in their control as to what they do.